So this is very much a co-presented paper. I'm not going to talk for very much time at all because I think it's really important that the young people share the work that they've been doing with you. And what I want to do is just give a little bit of context about why I'm working in this way with the WEYDA group. So there's a huge interest within the museum sector about how museums can respond to the needs of communities. And I just want to trace the kind of different ways in which museums have approached this task. The first is a quite a traditional model where museums decide to represent a community. They decide to do things without much community involvement whatsoever. And it might be very, very well intended, but the community aren't particularly involved. The museum holds the power. An alternative way of working, and it's one that's been very, very popular in the last 10 years, is that museums work on behalf of the community. And we've seen in the last 10 years a huge rise in outreach departments. I know the Open Museum has come from this kind of background, and Crawford will tell you a little bit more about this. But these sorts of ways of working where communities are involved, museums talk about what is it that communities need, how can we help you to do this? And this is certainly a way of working that has increased the visibility of stories that we haven't heard about before, particularly the Muslim community. And we see the rise in activist museums, so museums taking on certain causes, trying to use their power to change things. And we saw this a lot in the discussions this morning about the importance of museums, archives, and their role in society in telling these sorts of stories. The model of working that I'm currently experimenting with is the working with communities. And this is not about working on behalf of, it's working with. It's working to community agendas. It's going to community groups and saying, what is it that you want from us? And how can we help you do it? And this is something that we're interested in museums, but it's also a way that universities are increasingly starting to do their work. And I'll explain the context of the project that I'm working on. But essentially what I'm interested in is this move away from museum outreach, where the museum sits in one place and the community sits in another, and the community is invited into the museum and the fundamental power structures are not challenged, to one of in-reach, where the community can come to the museum and say, we want to do this, how are you going to respond? How are you going to help us? And that is essentially the model that I'm working with. So I'm here representing a project called Co-Curate North East. We are from the North East of England, and it's an AHRC funded project through the Connected Communities Digital Transformation strand. And it's a strand of research that's really interested in the power of digital technology to change the ways in which communities can represent themselves and their interests using university researchers. So we're particularly interested in how we can facilitate knowledge exchange between communities, heritage groups, such as those represented here today, cultural institutions and universities. And as part of Co-Curate North East, we are specifically looking to develop citizen researchers. So we heard this morning about a lot of the amazing research that archivists and academic historians, for example, are doing, and they're putting this research out there. What I'm interested in, what Co-Curate is interested in, is what communities and schools in particular can do with this research. So once you put everything into your open access digital archive, how can this be used by people for their own research needs, these citizen researcher ideas, so taking the university researcher out of it completely. And particularly in Co-Curate North East, we're really interested in how this idea of citizen researchers can bring about new stories, new emphasis on areas that haven't perhaps been fully explored in the North East. And this is an example here that ties in really well with this discussion this morning about the Yemeni community in the South Shields. This is an exhibition in Destination Tyneside in the Discovery Museum in Newcastle. And the museum has already been doing a lot of work on the history of different religions, different migrant groups in Newcastle. But as part of the work for the WEYDA group, we've been thinking about what else do people want to know about these displays? How else can we add to this story? How else can we expand the narrative of what it means to be from the North East? So the WEYDA group approached us when we were initially looking for people who might want to partner up as part of their research, and they said that they wanted some support doing research about the history of different religions in Newcastle, particularly Islam, but lots and lots of different religions as well, as they'll describe to you. And I came along to kind of find out what it was that they were doing already, and I watched some of the research that they were doing. And they were using Google, as we all do, to research Muslims in the West End. And I just want to share with you what I saw when I first came, because this is the first result that I saw that they found. a result from the British National Party about the selling off of the building that used to be in Byker Grove. It wouldn't be a presentation about the castle without mentioning Byker Grove. This building was being sold off, and the BNP were very angry about this. And my group of young people here were doing their research about religion in Newcastle, and this was the first search result that came up. And they might share with you how that kind of experience can feel, but what I'm interested in is how we can provide a counter-narrative in the online space for this. So Co-Curate North East is a site where people can upload their own resources, so it's not managed by a particular museum or archive. Anyone can add their own resources to the site as long as they have the copyright for them. And at the moment you can see that our Muslim heritage area is not very well populated. We've got a few things from the BFI, the British Film Institute, including a film of the Yemeni community in South Shields, but we don't have very much else. And this is where the WEYDA group comes in, because as part of the project that they're doing, so this is their own research, they're also going to be adding to our project by adding more resources that they've found about both Muslim heritage in Newcastle, but also wider religious research as well. And that's actually all I'm going to say. I'm going to pass you over to the WEYDA group.
Hello, my name is Hussein and we are WEYDA, West End of Digital Office. We are a youth group based in the West End of Newcastle. This group has been running for almost 3 years. We are here to talk about our life as Muslims in the North East and how we have understood other religions in our community. Me and the WEYDA group have been studying different religions within our area, and we have been going on various trips to different places of worship. This is to understand their religion more and for them to understand ours. By doing this, we are hoping to spread the message and to bring all the different religious communities together so that we can live a more respectful and peaceful life together in the UK.
Visits to the different religions. My name is Isa, and when we interviewed Hoshaka, we learned about different cultures and how we all have to respect each other's religions. From Chief, we learned that when she was younger, she had faced prejudice in the past and had overcome the insults and told us to do the same.
My name is Vanessa. When we went to visit the Roma community, we engaged with them by doing activities we both enjoyed, such as making new ones. We found out they were quite religious and the stereotypes we associated with them weren't exactly true.
When we went to visit the Christian community, we got a tour of the church and found out that Christians normally pray on a Sunday in their best clothes and also pray involving lots of music.
We got a tour of the synagogue and learned that Jewish people can't eat meat and dairy at the same time and have to wait at least 4 hours before eating one or the other. They even have separate dishes for them. They are also very similar to a Muslim lifestyle as they separate their men and women when they pray.
Learning about the religious history of Newcastle by Vivian, Alia and Alan.
Places we looked at and visited, discovered museum and destination types like.
We did the British citizen test because we wanted to understand what it means to be British. We searched Christian stories. We found one of a British Muslim man who saved a woman from a fire. We also looked at old maps and historical places.
What we found out, we found information about
the first Muslim community in the West End and the history of our mosque. It was first a Methodist church.
We learned about how people reacted when Elsie Cross opened. We looked at pictures related to this. We think this was very important for our history.
What did we host? We hosted
A football tournament, a big one, and a tournament. Also about the stories we had researched.
As you can see on the board, it shows all the different communities joining together to take part in the events that we hosted.
Thank you for your time. Now you know why the group has been promised for the past 8 months.
My name's Burhan.
And I am Adam.
We work together with co-create to understand all the different histories from the main 5 religions in Newcastle. Also, they helped us come to this event.
We have been doing some research about the other religions in Newcastle, and it was very hard. We had to get in touch with different people and we had to go to different places.
Google, what the hell's that? Right, Google was not very helpful if we wanted to research something that only helped us research an individual.
We found it very interesting learning about the individual stories from the different religions and also researching their own maps, because we found out new things such as the little communities now and then.
Co-create helped us in many different ways, and co-create helped us in many different ways. 2 minutes. We got in touch with them because we needed their expertise.
They helped us to do our research in the library, and we are currently making the symbol using a 3D printer. The symbol will represent all the different faiths we have encountered and show that we can and do respect the other religions.
They also helped us make a treasure hunt on their website, helped us use their website to make a treasure hunt. The first ever one launched by WEYDA.
We hope you like this.
I'm going to pass it on to Maheen and Akash now.
And I'm Akash.
We're told about the cabinet. After this, we're going to the Discovery Museum to talk about the cabinet and what's going to happen with it. The cabinet, as we see, is going to be talking about what will be put into it. We put in religious objects such as things from other religions into the cabinet. And it brings hope for other religions so they can work together. There's not only one entity can work together. And as well as that, our 3D symbol will be put in there. It will be called Happy Angel of the North. It will represent the North because it's happy. Everything is happy on the North. We want it like that. And as well as that, we want more people to come to WEYDA, not just Asians. We want other religions such as Romans, Sikhs, Christians, and other religions, all sorts. And pass over to Akash now, that will talk about the film.
In the film, we tried to create awareness around Newcastle because of racism and people getting judged because of the skin of their colour, not by their character. And we do all of this. We understand what people are going through, and religions can't work together. We showed this through the football tournament that we hosted, and religions work together perfectly. So we don't understand why you don't think. And now we're going to watch the film and thank you for listening.